How'd you answer it? Hey, what's your plans for free agency this offseason?
Well, we plan to pursue, we plan to be active in the market, and we're always looking to upgrade at every position, and we're gonna try and see if we can't. Probably overdoing the chuckling too much, but you get the bit. We're gonna try to improve our team. We're gonna leave no stone unturned. We're gonna go big game hunting, but let's be honest, Suze and Bags, Pavs, we're going to come up short because it's what we do. But I'll tell you this.
All right, now
if there's a Rule 5 guy out there, if there is a third-string catcher,
I'm a Giants fan.
Go
if there is
seconds.
a 15-year-old Dominican shortstop, then we're going to bring him in.
You can't go
sure.
30 seconds without getting sarcastic on this. You can't go 30. Obviously, you don't mean he would actually say that.
Of course not, Mark. I'm trying to play it for humor.
No, but wait.
You know what? What he says, I don't care what he says. It's what he does that matters.
But you guys are saying that you do care what he says.
I care what he does.
No,
it doesn't matter what he says.
Multiple times on this radio show, you have said that they should not have managed expectations this way. They should not have said that they were going to go after big names. Mark Grandy's text, if they had just kept their mouths shut about what they were going to do this offseason, I accept that.
Well,
what I want to know is how would you have answered that? Like, for real, how would you have answered that question?
We are going to be
in a way that you would have found acceptable.
We're going to be in on all free agents. We understand that there are competitors and challenges, and we're not going to guarantee that we're going to get anybody, but I'll tell you this. We're going to be out there. We're going to try like heck to make this team better. And, we're going to improve this product.
And you feel like it was answered differently than that?
I feel like they set expectations about bringing in big names. And Farhan said back in January, he understands the need to bring in big names and big talent. And I don't think that they've done that.
I don't remember that quote.
I was just looking at it during the break.
What did he say?
I'll pull it back up here. It was in January. He said, yeah.
January as in a month ago?
January, yes. Farhan shoulders the blame for their struggle to bring in a superstar.
Okay.
This is from the TK Show podcast.
Okay. What do you say?
He said, I would say to the extent that I've been a part of this, I take responsibility for it. None of it should be interpreted or viewed as an indictment of the Bay Area. He was responding to the idea of the Bay Area being
so this is that's after the fact, though.
Right.
That's after the fact. That's after the Shoheis and the Yamamotos, who, by the way, nobody had heard of him either until free agency started.
Right.
But this is after those guys ended up as Dodgers. I'm like, and this is, I hope you understand this. I'm not trying to make a point. This is sincere. I want to know how it is. Those of you who feel like the Giants somehow told you that they were going to land a big star in free agency, how do you think they answered it, and how do you want them to answer it? Because my sense is a lot of people go, gosh, you promised the world. And I'm like, I didn't hear that. When did they promise that?
It's not about promises.
When has anyone ever promised?
Their actions. They try to get these players, and then they don't deliver these players.
Right, but that's a totally different point.
That to me is the greater point.
But that I agree with. But I'm going on your words here and Grandy's, because I've heard you say this a number of times, that you believe the Giants somehow publicly held some sort of an event. And there was
no, I've never said they held an event.
There were poster boards. It was like, we're going to get a star.
Impression. It's the notion that they're going after these players. It doesn't have to be words. It's the optics of, all the reports of Rosenthal and all the rest of them. The Giants are in on Aaron Judge, blah, blah, blah. But the Giants are a finalist for Shohei Ohtani.
Is that not out of their control, though, what the national reporters say? Like John Heyman is like,
well, they get that report from somewhere.
Right, but they're in on everyone.
And then they're out on everyone as well.
And then they fail. And that is obviously a massive problem.
And that, to me, is the bigger issue than
I'm just talking about
Granny's text talking about what they say. I don't really care what they say.
No, but you've said that. You've
the
said
idea
that for a year.
Under-promise and over-deliver. They don't under-promise and over-deliver.
But they also don't over-promise and under-deliver. I don't think they've promised anything at all, is what I'm saying.
Well, and that's why no one's showing up.
I think they've disappointed
general attendance.
They've disappointed the hell out of us.
Year after year, but in free agency.
All I'm focused on here is this idea that a lot of people seem to be running around with, that the Giants like held a press conference and told everyone we're going to get him, which it's like I missed that. I never heard that. Maybe it is by osmosis because John Heyman
they had the press conference with the owner, right, back when he said, we're just trying to break even. That was
super underwhelming.
Right.
I'm like, talk about that's under promise and under deliver.
Correct.
Was Greg Johnson. And that's my number one issue with this whole organization right now. And I get that they're over there and people don't even know who they are or whatever. Like Farhan, we can have a discussion about him. To me, to this point, this is an ownership thing. Even look at them right now.
Well, it's a city thing. And if you listen to during Buster Posey,
bunch of bull.
Buster saying that players have told him that, well, that's Buster made that. Yeah. Buster made that a thing.
No, I mean.
So it's partly a thing because Buster Posey said that players have told him it's a thing. It's a thing.
I'm not saying that it's not a thing for certain people.
Right.
It's just unfortunately a bunch of bull.
I agree with you.
That has even ended up a thing.
Although I almost got jumped 4 times last night walking back. Turned out it was all you. You and I were crisscrossing on the streets.
You were the one who jumped. Yeah, you
fair.
came up behind me and I wasn't even looking.
I was about to grab your umbrella, but you didn't really see me coming, and so I didn't want to, I didn't want to catch an elbow or have you swivel around and clock me. So
I can't and won't defend the repeated free agent failures. I can't and won't defend even what I'm looking at right now in this moment. Go back to that text message I told you I got where the insider's like, they're waiting for prices to come down.
Right.
Really? That it's February 21st and that's your game plan? Hey Boris, we like your guys, but let's piss them off first. Let's do that.
And you think you're the only team waiting for the price to come down?
For what?
All 29 teams
for what?
Are waiting for the price to come down.
You're trying to save a couple bucks?
Right.
With your Mission Rock crap?
Well, you're trying to come close to breaking even.
Get the player.
That's not how they're approaching this.
And they're wrong.
Well,
why do you think they keep not getting the player?
And that's partly why my excitement level is not as high. If you would have signed Chapman and or Bellinger or Snell or Montgomery, if you would have had those guys in right now, the excitement level would be higher. I still wouldn't be at an 8 or a 9 because it's February.
I'm totally with you. My point is kind of quirky. I'm not defending the Giants offseason, even with their second most spending. Their starting rotation is not viable. I don't even think their lineup is potentially approaching viable, but I don't even think that's necessarily there yet. What I am wondering is why does everybody feel like they literally looked you in the eye and promised you that they were going to nail it? I don't think they did that. And maybe that doesn't matter, but I just hear it. I hear it all the time.
Right.
And you did a lot last year.
Yeah.
They went out there and they promised. I'm like, they did? I don't think they promised it. That would be the stupidest thing to do ever.
The idea of a promise it's not the idea. It doesn't even matter to me if they said, we promise you that we're going to get a guy. They wouldn't do that because they don't control that. The player controls it. It's the idea and the notion that they've been really hell-bent on bringing in one of these people and they've been unable to do it.
Correct.
And, Jung-Hoo Lee aside, we don't know a guy from the KBL. You gave him $113 million. That doesn't mean he's any good. Now, if he is worth $113 million, then good on you, Farhan. Mm-hmm. That's a steal. Yep. That's a find. That's great. He's a leadoff hitter. He can defend. He's got speed. He's got personality. Oh, boy. He could be a face of the franchise for 6 years going forward, but we don't know if the guy's any good.
Nope.
None of us has ever seen him play once in our life. on TV, in person.
Lots of highlights.
Sure.
Like Darko Milicic-esque highlights.
Exactly. Did you see any of his lowlights?
I've never seen him strike out.
Exactly.
Every swing he takes, the ball goes out to the wall in right field. It's incredible. I've never seen anything else.
I mean, that's your biggest high-priced item was that you traded for a guy who can't pitch until July.
Yeah.
Jorge Soler, hopefully he is the same slugger he's been at times, but he's had down years. He's had hurt years. Yeah. This is not like you signed Pete Alonso.
Nobody's
traded for Alonso or
nobody's.
Yeah, so
that. I just wonder. I wonder why people think that they told you that they were definitely getting Shohei or whatever.
Here's a line from an Andrew Baggerly piece about the pursuit of Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Okay.
Baggerly writes, according to those familiar with Zaidi's thinking, he has never been so all in on a free agent in his 6 years while leading the Giants baseball operations group. So it's less of a promise, but it's more just, as Dibs was saying, the reporting about how this was the year. It was finally going to happen.
And with that, I agree with you two and everyone else wholeheartedly. You put 3 years into this pursuit, and you got beat. You got beat. Nobody's going to tell you that's okay. You got beat again. So yeah, I'm totally with you there. I just I hear that a lot. Like the Giants promised us this. Well, no, they didn't.
Yeah,
no,
I don't.
Didn't.
Personally, I don't do promises in my own life, so I know that I never would have said they promised us. No, a promise.
You got married last year,
right? And
it's a promise.
Well, it's a commitment, is what it is.
Yeah,
you and I have both been in commitments that maybe didn't go the distance.
Yeah.
So the idea of a promise. No, I'm not going to promise you. I'm going to do my darndest.
Yeah,
I give you my word that I'm going to try like heck to be a good radio partner. I'm not going to promise you that I'm going to be the partner you want. I'm not going to promise you that I'm going to be great every day. We know that. I've already broken that promise multiple times.
And that's
today.
I guess that's kind of what I'm getting at as far as the expectation, or it's, it does. It feels like a lot of fans feel jilted. And I'm just like you can, again, be mad. I don't think that I don't want to hear that this roster's ready. I don't want to hear it. No, it's not. It's not. But I don't feel like somebody you know what I mean? Like I'm not asking for a refund. I didn't spend anything yet, but you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying, but I also
can I real quick, remember the whole, for those of you who were listening to the crossover, remember the whole my son's gift was late and didn't come for the birthday? I just want to say this out loud because, and it's not about my son or me or anything like that, but and I had people in my life because I was it ended up showing up the day after the birthday, the day after. And I had people in my life because I'm I'm emailing them. I'm like, you did not, you promised me something. There was a line when I bought it that said 2 to 5 days shipping.
Yeah.
I bought it on February 1st. It showed up on February 19th.
That's more than 2 to 5 days.
That's not 2 to 5 days. That's a promise that you didn't keep. But I had a lot of people be like, good luck. I've tried this a bunch of times, and businesses are just going to be like, so sorry, shipping's tough in 2024. I emailed them. I said, we love the product. We're having a great time with it. I'm glad it's been found. However, this did not meet my expectations, and it did not meet my son's birthday party. And I would like to be compensated for that. And I got about a third of the price of the whole thing back.
Nice.
And so I appreciate that company. I'm like, I wasn't asking for a refund.
Yeah.
But meet me halfway. You didn't keep your promise. So good on that company.
Yeah.
They're called Putterball. It's fun. And
I've seen it.
And I appreciate their responsiveness and their action. That's good. That's a promise that wasn't kept. I just think that's different.
It is different.
Yeah.
And I'm currently in a battle. I've taken up a battle for my wife because she got a garment from a company, and I won't name the company.
She knows who to put on them.
Well, and she's exasperated.
This company
it's an exasperation sensation. It's funny because I'm actually the good cop in this relationship. She plays more of the bad cop, and it hasn't gotten her very far. So I said, let me take up for you. She got a garment sent to her that had a hole in it, and she said, there's a hole in it. And they actually showed a picture of how they sent it. And when they sent it, it had a hole in it because they were blaming the shippers. And so she wants her money back, and she hit a dead end. And so I've taken it up now, and I'm trying to kill him with kindness. I'll let you know how it goes.
That's a good start.
Yeah.
Be ready to pivot.
You know me, Mark.
Pivot?
I will pivot. I will pivot to the. I will go dark side if I need to. But the idea of Farhan, he maybe didn't make a promise, but the notion as a consumer is that they were going big game hunting.
Totally.
And all he's come back with is small game.
Medium game.
Apologies to Jung-Hoo Lee. We don't know what kind of game you are. You got an injured pitcher, and you've got you got a slugger.
Yeah.
Good little hitter.
Yeah.
We'll see if that pans out in a pitcher-friendly ballpark.
No, I mean, yeah.
So it feels like, as a consumer, that he hasn't really done the job that you want him to do.
Absolutely.
The idea of promising big names, I think that's a fool's errand because, Yamamoto, he didn't want to come here. Arson Judge stayed in New York, and all the rest of them. The one guy who did want to come here, you kind of turned your back on because he failed his physical. Carlos Correa.
Yeah.
And after 1 year, I'm going to give that one to Farhan. 1 year in, you get a win for year one because Correa's year was not worth what you were going to pay him.
Although, he's starting to get good in the playoffs, which is what he does.
He did.
It's what he does. Richie in Queens, and Bobby Marks is joining us in 10 minutes. Capologist, NBA. We'll get into the Warriors situation. Klay Thompson. Hey, Richie, you're on with Willie and Dibby. What's up?
Hey, guys. How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
All right. I spoke to you guys about 2 months ago, and you were talking, well, I think it was you were mentioning as who wants to come here. And you were insisting that people do want to come here after Posey's comments and whatever. And I remember saying, I'll believe it when I see it. I agree. I would have liked to see Chapman. I would like to see Montgomery. I didn't think we were going to get Snell. Bellinger would have been a great fit. I don't know how Bellinger felt about coming here.
Those are all still on the table, Richie. They're all still on the table.
Yeah, and they could still make a move. And, But look, I look at this team, and I always try to look at the positive. They were 81-81 last year, which was amazing with what they had. Have they improved? I think they have a little bit. Soler, I give them a B. The reason I give them a B is because getting Soler kind of like, well, he's been a proven winner, MVP in the playoffs. Gives them pop. They haven't had a 30-home run guy since 04. So I think they'll be better. But, this is not the kind of draft or the kind of offseason to say, wow, they projected and jumped right into the top of the echelon. But after what happened last year, guys, with Arizona and with Texas, you just want to get to the playoffs. Obviously, Robbie Ray coming back and Cobb, they'll probably come back in July. Maybe those guys will be like, wow, they're on the cusp, and now it's almost like picking up two guys at the trade deadline. But then, I don't want to see Flores every day. I love Flores. It was tremendous, but he can't be our best hitter. Conforto was a definite disappointment. Does he turn around? I think Yaz is going south, guys, at this point. I think physically it's taken its toll on him. And maybe Wade's healthier. So bottom line, I love baseball. I want to look for the positives. I think they'll be competitive. It's going to be really tough to compete with Arizona and the Dodgers in that division. But at least I think they've improved a notch. And they still got room for improvement.
Richie,
always a pleasure, guys.
Yep, to you as well.
Thanks,
Thank you so much. I agree with pretty much everything you said. Have they improved? Yes. Enough? No.
They were 79-83 last year.
Yeah, 79-83.
81-81 the year before.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just whatever. Like perfect records at the end of exactly. Yeah. So
I wouldn't say they improved by a notch. I'd say their offense went a notch up and their pitching went a notch down.
Did it? I mean, the only pitchers that they moved on from, everybody hated. Moved on from DeSclafani and Alex Wood.
But who's the rotation right now?
Well, it's a lot of question marks, but we don't know that they're not good. We don't know that they're good. Yeah, I'm not comfortable with the rotation, but I also can't tell you that Kyle Harrison and Jordan Hicks aren't going to come out and throw fireballs all over the whole league. I have no idea.
Right.
I know Keaton Wynn is already on the shelf for a week, and he's supposed to be the fourth starter, and I'm not comfortable with that.
Your 9-figure acquisition has 0 at-bats, not only in Major League Baseball, but in America. So, I mean, KBO players, I don't know how many hitters have come over and really torn it up instantly, and you're paying a guy $113 million. Gigantic question mark to me.
Roll the dice. No doubt. Connor San Leandro. Hey, Connor, what are you doing?
Hey guys, what's up? Just listening to you, and I'm hearing this debate about whether or not we've technically caught Farhan in a promise. I mean, he did say that he's never been so all in on a free agent as Yoshinobu Yamamoto. So that's literally his best effort, and it failed. That's a high watermark of what he can achieve. I am, in addition to being a diehard 49ers fan and a diehard San Francisco Giants fan, I happen to be a Knicks fan. And if you look at what Leon Rose has done on the other coast to build a real contender, he has been a real executive. He hasn't just bid the same amount as everyone else and then washed his hands of the whole deal. What he's done instead is by hook or by crook. If I need to hire the second to Luka Doncic, and I need to hire his father, bring him in, and then get his son to play for us, after a really incredible offseason run by the Dallas Mavs, then I'm going to do that. We need creative thinkers. And the creative thought that Farhan has brought is dumpster diving. He hasn't brought any creative thought to what he can do to change the perception. And if anything, he's kind of let the cat out of the bag on having everyone argue about whether the Bay Area is actually attracting free agents. He should have been well in front of that 5 years ago. He should have seen where the wind was blowing, so to speak, but also literally, and figure out how we can change this team to make it competitive with what the Dodgers were going to do. He was in that building before he was in ours.
Wow,
and
Connor,
he didn't know what the Dodgers were going to do.
I completely agree with that. This subject has now come up twice, and it never should have come up at all. I don't care how true it is. This was my whole point. There's still people out and about who think I came after Buster Posey. I didn't. He's allowed to have the opinion. He's the one there talking to people.
Right.
So I'm sure he's right.
I came after Buster
My
Posey.
issue was that it went public.
That was the issue.
There's no way to win there. And all you do is make it a national conversation that ends up in Charles Barkley's mouth on TNT.
Exactly.
3 months later. How is this helping you? And then Farhan's over here. Here's the other one. Oh, well, we finally got Jorge Soler. Well, how'd you do it? Well, I got Wilmer Flores on the Zoom, and he closed. The guy who's going to lose the at-bats is the one who came in and convinced Soler to close the deal. Like, this is really just all PR, people. It's just PR.
Speaking of which, the Panda's back. I mean, it's all PR.
I mean, you look at the three teams, and you can tell who's got the PR rankings. Number one, Golden State Warriors.
Raymond Ritter, best in the business.
And Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr will jump on the air and be like,
Steph Curry, my God.
I messed everything up last night. That was my bad.
Steph, I'll put my reputation on the line and duel that out at the All-Star weekend against Sabrina Ionescu. Wow.
PR ranking number 2, San Francisco 49ers. Can be clunky. Kyle's arrogant, thinks he's right. Sometimes he'll tell you, but they're really good. They haven't won rings.
Jed York with a nice comeback as an owner, too. He's figured it out, PR-wise.
PR ranking number 3, Giants. What are you doing?
I think the Quakes and the Bay Area Panthers both are ahead of the Giants.
Giants are terrified of the A's leaving because they've got them beat in PR, but that's about it.